What's up, guys? This is Coach Amir from SevenFigureBody.com. For the last 16 years, I've helped over 1,200 entrepreneurs get in top shape. And today, we're going to talk about the optimal training program for busy entrepreneurs. So if you are an entrepreneur who does not want to live in a gym, you don't have time or desire to be in the gym 6 days a week or 7 days a week or 2 hours each workout, then what is the best training program when it comes to what type of actual workout should you do? So there is a concept called the training split, which simply means, are you training specific body parts? Are you doing full body every single time you're in the gym? Are you doing upper lower split? There's a bunch of different options here. There's just one study that came out recently that basically talked about the split versus the full body training programs. But the key is, which they have done very correctly in this case, which is they equalized the training volume. So the total amount of volume, load, and proximity to failure were the same, right? So for example, let's say you're doing full body workouts twice a week and you get to do, I don't know, 2 or 3 sets per muscle group each time. Or you simply say, I'm going to do the exact same amount of sets and reps and weight and proximity to failure for legs, but I'm going to do it in upper lower split, right? So they just basically said full body versus upper lower split or some kind of other split option, split body part option, but total training volume, load, and proximity to failure. So basically weight use, sets, reps, it was all the same. It's just they're looking at actual body splits versus full body and seeing if there's any difference. Now, what is very, very relevant here and probably the most useful to you as an entrepreneur is there are no differences in results regardless of whether you do legs one day, upper body the other day, or you do some kind of split where you're doing, chest and back, you're doing legs and shoulders, whatever, or you do just full body every time. It doesn't matter. Your results will be identical as long as total training volume, which means the reps and sets and the amount of weight lifted is the same and the proximity to failure is the same at the end of the, for example, week, right? It's nothing magical about week, but it can be 10 days, 5 days, whatever, month. If you look at a certain period of time and you equalize the total training volume, load, and closeness to failure, results are the same regardless of how you train the muscle. And you can do a couple of good conclusions from this. Number one, if you are training in a gym 2 to 3 times a week, by far, the best bang for your buck is going to be full body every time, especially if you're training twice a week. If you're training 3 times a week, it's still the case, but in some instances, I would have clients, training programs for my clients customized a certain way that maybe it's not just like full body every time, simply because at 3 times a week, we can focus on certain amounts of work and load on groups that you want to, muscle groups that you want to really focus on. So for example, let's say you said, hey, my quads or legs, I don't really care much about, so I'm fine training them once a week, but I really want to put my, focus on my chest or my shoulders or my arms, and I want to do that twice a week. Okay, then we can do that, certainly. But generally speaking, when it comes to how do you get best results, is irrelevant when it comes to body split. So whether you like to do upper to lower split, for example, a couple of general ideas that I would give you that are probably going to do really, really well, unless you have some specific reason not to, is up to 3 times a week. So training once, twice, or 3 times a week in the gym, specifically doing lifting, resistance training. It doesn't have to be in the gym. If you're working out at your house, same thing. But if you're doing resistance training, up to 3 times a week, full body split is probably going to be best. If you're training 4 times a week, then upper lower split is probably best. And then if you're really an enthusiast and you're like, I really love lifting, I'm training 5 times a week or more, in that case, you certainly can use a some kind of split that makes sense for you. You can do chest and back one day, you can do legs the other day, you can do shoulders and like horizontal pull the third day, arms and calves or whatever else, whatever other split. There's many endless options here. But generally, I want you to remember 2 things from this video. One is that total training volume is what produces the amount of muscle you're going to get. So anything that allows you to get more volume in, like literally more work in. So for example, let's say you train twice a week and you said, am I going to get better results if I increase that to 3 times a week? The answer is yes, you will, because more work, more quality lifts are going to cause more muscle growth. Now, of course, there's a limit to that, but generally at 3 times a week, you have no risk of overtraining at all. Like you're not going to be overtraining. You're going to be recovering just fine. So in that case, more volume is going to build a little bit more muscle, yes. What if you said, I train 5 times a week, but now I want to train 6 times a week? Now, in that case, the recovery may be an issue. So if you're not recovering properly and just doing more work, in that case, it might actually be what they call the junk volume, which is basically doing work that does not produce better results. So even though vast majority of people are, especially entrepreneurs, are not training 6 times a week in the gym, so it's probably not really an issue for many people. So for you, if you're training anytime between, like, let's say, between 2 and 4 times a week, probably either a full body split or upper lower split is going to be best. So please remember, the number one thing that builds muscle is proximity to failure, meaning the 2 things that actually matter is, are you lifting more weight over time, or you're using the exact same weight, but you're actually doing more reps or sets over time. If the answer to any of those 2 is yes, you have built muscle and you have gotten stronger. If the answer to those, let's say, for my clients, if I have a client today and we look at his lifts or her lifts, and we see that they're lifting the exact same amount of weight for the exact same amount of sets and reps that they did 3 months ago, we've made no progress. What are they doing? They're just maintaining in the gym, which is fine, that's okay, if that is the client is okay with that. If the client said, hey, it's fine, I just want to maintain, cool. Usually we're not fine with that. We want to progress, right? So we need to be increasing either first number of reps, then sets, and then finally we increase weight. Okay, a couple of other things we can do: prolong the eccentric phase. We can lift the weight, on the way down slower. It's going to put a little bit more tension. But generally speaking, we want to increase sets, reps, weight. Those are the things that you should look for month to month to month, and especially like on a, like 2 to 3 month cycle concept. So let's say you look at last 3 months, these 3 months. And now, what are the lifts today compared to 6 months ago? Okay, what are the lifts today compared to 3 months ago? And then you look at what is the projection here. Am I going up or am I maintaining? Vast majority of people just go to the gym and always lift the same stuff. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, today, I lifted, my 3 sets of 10 with 180 pounds, and that's it, right, on a bench press. Or they squatted, 180 pounds, 3 sets of 8, they've been doing that for 10 years. Guess what? If that's the case, the first 3 months when you started training, you got those gains, and then for the last 10 years, you've been maintaining. And again, nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of reasons people go to the gym: to get away from the wife, from the kids, get some peace, look at hot chicks. All that is wonderful. But for me and my clients, especially, kick-ass entrepreneurs, we're like, we want progress. I want to be stronger. I want to see and feel the strength and body composition improvements, seeing and feeling more muscle and getting stronger month to month to month to month. So I hope this helps. It's a new study that just proved what we've previously known, and I've talked about this many times on the channel. But if you like this, please click the link below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ask any questions you have about this in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer it for you. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.